Hi everybody, Adam Steele here, and something's different. Yes, that's right. For those of you who've seen the channel for many years, the hair's gone. I mean, yes, it's kind of a cosmetic thing, but today's video is on that topic and is there a shift in the industry, the music industry in general? Is long hair a bad thing? And did I change my look to suit the industry and to try and please everybody else? Let's talk about it. So before we do, if you would be so kind as to, if you're not already subscribed, hit the button, hit the like button, all that kind of stuff. It's really appreciated. We generally talk much more about tech and production and stuff, but today we're talking about hair. Aside from the beard, this is generally how I used to look when I was much younger, like between 10 years old and kind of 18. I was a short-haired kid, and I think got tired of that, and I saw myself as this long-haired hippie type. I listen to prog rock. I'm into all the stuff that you would associate with a kind of a modern day hippie, or at least I thought I was. And as a result, I kind of took that look on of having the long hair and was like that for the best part of 20 years. And in the last couple of weeks or so, I saw myself in the mirror and decided that my hair has got quite thin, not balding, but just fine and thin, and wasn't kind of being, it wasn't holding together very well. I've been to the hairdressers to try and get it kind of fixed, and every time it just wasn't helping. So I decided this time, no, off you go. And so I am a new man, reborn, or something like that. I still feel like myself, I'm still the same guy. But perceptions have already changed. Some of you may have noticed that I'm kind of looking in okay shape. I've been going to the gym for the last 18 months. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any recreational stuff that's, untoward. And I've very much got into a shape, and not many people seem to really notice. And then suddenly, with the hair, I'm getting, oh, don't you look fancy, and all that kind of stuff. And so there must be some perception of, the long-haired hippie that can't, doesn't equate, unless you kind of really go all the way and do the Thor kind of thing, the Chris Hemsworth kind of size of a wall kind of thing. But at that point, you can get away with murder. You can have the crazy coloured hair and do anything if you like that kind of thing, if you are superhumanly built, which I am not. However, I didn't do this for the perception. I mean, a little bit of me did. I mean, everybody's got a little bit of that kind of, vanity, self-centered thing going on, and I do want to look nice, but there's no real ulterior motive behind it. I'm not trying to get ahead in the industry by looking smarter or anything like that. That's what the suit jacket's for. You'll have seen me in the teaching videos wearing the suit jacket. That is subliminal. That says to people, I am a professional. I am kind of a teacher, like you might see as some cool college professor kind of thing. I do that on purpose. I very much want to be presented in that light as kind of the guy who's not got a stick up his backside but knows what he's talking about and can teach. And so, I do things that try and present me on camera as somebody, in a position of some authority, I guess. But the hair thing, people saying, oh, you look 10 years younger. Maybe that's been a subliminal part of it, because when I first started doing videos on music production, I felt like nobody would take me seriously because I was too young. And, that played on my mind a little bit. And I think the long hair and the kind of the suit jacket, I was trying to look older, but now I am older. I'm, pushing 40. I've got grey bits on the sides. And I can actually grow a beard without trying really, really hard these days. And that kind of thing is all kind of lending itself to me naturally, I think, coming across with some more experience, not only visually, but just in myself. So now having the short hair that does make me look apparently younger, doesn't make me look crazy younger. I don't look like some sort of high school kid. And that's good, because I don't want to. I definitely want to come across as subliminally somebody who has been around a while, somebody who's paid their dues, somebody who, does what I do and has been doing it for 20 years, which is the case. But the wider industry conversation now, to bring it out, I do wonder about a lot of especially in rock and metal, a lot of the well-known leading lights have over the years cut their hair off, and at first you get that sellout, they're just trying to be trendy, and then those voices go away and you're left with your favorite artist with shorter hair, like James Hetfield from Metallica had a lot of his hair cut off years ago, and at the time I think all the guys in Metallica did. They all had their hair cut off in the mid-90s, and they got backlash and, oh, you guys are selling out and being trendy. And yes, Kirk Hammett grew his hair out again. James Hetfield didn't. And Lars Ulrich kind of has sometimes and kind of hasn't. But nobody cares. And, James Hetfield looks great. Another great example is Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. He had the long curly hair thing going on. And at some point it all went, and he got the short hair thing, and Nickelback got bigger and bigger and bigger. Probably not because of that, but there must be something to it because they have the mainstream pop appeal that took away some of maybe the stigma around the long-haired hippie metal guy, and meant that barrier that a lot of people's prejudice put up was removed. And so there was a potential to appeal to a bigger audience, which Nickelback as a band are a good example of somebody. They've never been shy about saying, we want to appeal to the most people possible. And all the more power to them, because they've made that very clear. Like I say, this isn't an intentional thing for me, but maybe subconsciously there's something to be said for that, because I do want to appeal to the most number of people, because I want to teach and educate people about what I do with Reaper, with audio production, with mixing, with bass, with all the stuff that I'm really passionate about. I want the least number of people to have hang-ups about me because of the way I look. I mean, that's a difficult subject, because the way people look and the way people are should not be taken into account as a positive or a negative as to what you have to say and what your experiences are. But the gender, race, all those kinds of things absolutely should not be barriers to being accepted for what you have to say. But they still kind of are, and I really wish they weren't. But I'm really not in a position to talk about a lot of that kind of stuff as the kind of typical white male. I don't have some of the experience that other people have there, but as the long-haired hippie, I definitely do have that experience, where that has always kind of put me as the outsider. That's always put me as kind of having to prove to people that I'm a decent guy, or that I'm smart, or that I work hard, or that I'm not some waster. So as much as it isn't holding a candle up to the kind of the prejudices that some other groups of people have faced, it's certainly an aspect that I have experience of. And it's entirely possible that subconsciously a part of me wanted to change that perception and just kind of go incognito, maybe. But what it really comes down to for me is that just the condition of the hair was getting beyond repair. And so, I mean, when I went to the hairdresser, this bit at the front here, that's how long that hair was already. It had already kind of thinned and snapped to that point. So it kind of had to be done if I wanted to start again. I might grow my hair out again at some point in the future if I can keep its kind of quality and condition. But by that point, I might be grey, I might be going bald, so who knows, that might be the end of that phase of my life. It's something that I did have to wrestle with a little bit, because every image of me on the internet, which, my image is my brand, is me with the long hair. And so I had to kind of reconcile a little bit with, is everybody going to recognise me? Because as much as I can say, oh yeah, I might appeal to more people, I might also lose going forward the recognition factor of, oh, it's that guy. I remember that guy. He did a video that I really liked. I'll watch this one. Maybe that won't be an issue for me. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, I'm seeing more and more guys in rock and metal, not just on stage, but off stage as well, not doing the long hair thing. At one point, everybody did it, unless you physically couldn't. Devin Townsend's a really good example. He had the thing that you might call the skullet, where he kind of didn't want to cut all his hair off, even though he had a bald spot the size of France. And then one day he made that decision and went, you know what? Okay, it's gonna go. And his new look became and is iconic. He's the completely bald guy. That's Devin. That's who he is. And I can kind of see this being my image going forward, as I think a lot of guys in the industry are doing. They're deciding, okay, well, what is my image going to be, and sticking with it. I mean, there's examples like Andy Birsack from Black Veil Brides. They were the whole long hair thing, and then he got his hair cut, and no big deal. Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance had the really long hair and then got it cut. Of course, he also got it dyed white, and then it's gone long, short, long, short. But people, again, don't care that's him. But do you have to reach a certain level of fame for things like long hair, which can be a negative, to be just accepted? Do you have to be at a certain level of fame and respect for people to generally respect your unconventional whatever it is? It's definitely something that's worth thinking about. Is it worth, and this isn't an either way, but it's a thinking point, is it worth sacrificing some of your individuality of your look to get further ahead? I mean, a big part of me is screaming, no, that's not okay. You should be who you are and look the way you want to look. But at the same time, it does mean that to a point you're kind of ice skating uphill, when what you could do is get a fan base, grow a following by not blending in with everybody else, but at least kind of taking some barriers away, and then at some point then changing the look to be like, hey, this is who I was all along. But then that might not be a good idea either, because then you're changing who you are to get ahead. And is that selling out? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. The worries and possibilities are endless. I suppose my stance on it in the end is do what's right for you, for your own reasons. And my reasons were entirely practical, even though, bubbling under the surface, there's probably something to it. The main thing for me was it was just in a bad condition, and here's how I look now. Hope this was interesting for you. I hope it doesn't kind of, affect you negatively and make you cut all your hair off if it looks fantastic. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to the patrons for supporting me. And thanks to everybody for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.